Hello and welcome to Network. My name is Spumelele Zondi with your technology and social media news. Today we are coming to you from the Johannesburg City Centre. Remember that if you are looking for us, you can find us on SABC Network. Now that's on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It's newsnetwork at sabc.co.za on email. As it was International Indigenous or Mother Tongue Day recently, today we are asking you if your devices that you use on a daily basis have an option for your mother tongue. Here's what's coming up in the program. 5G and foldable gadgets with Samsung's device. An app for traditional healers. And
you just have to show the aptitude to code and the resilience to learn.
Free digital skills training. A phone you can fold. And a phone that is 5G ready. That's what Samsung was launching recently. Producer Sandile Hlangani was there.
With the new 5G wireless technology knocking on our door, smartphone manufacturers are in a big race to develop devices that can take advantage of the speeds and reliability that 5G promises. Samsung has made a bold move by launching its new lineup of 5G-ready Galaxy S10 smartphones.
Samsung has launched two handset devices today. The within the S range. The S range is actually the S10 range we've been waiting for the past 10 years. It's a phone we've been waiting for. In South Africa, we are the first, and we're also the first one to test it. The networks have done that, but in terms of the handset, we're the first handset with a 5G.
The most noticeable benefits for the users will be the faster speeds than today's 4G technology.
It's a speed we're going to be seeing. It's going to revolutionize how we watch movies, how we make calls, and it will also how we live.
Right now, it seems like there are more questions about 5G than there are answers. People are wondering what 5G is and if they will ever see it in their city, while others are more interested in 5G smartphones.
The first time I used my phone, it was a 2G, it was very slow. And then there was a 3G, things got quicker and quicker especially when you download stuff. I'm very interested in the 5G though.
Nope, I don't know any of that, but I think it's all about internet. That's all I know.
I'm sure it's about your internet and all of the above.
The screen on the S10 Plus is actually a 6.4 inch screen. It's a beautiful screen. So it's ultrasonic screen that allows it to be very panoramic. When you look at a movie end to end, you actually have got a much better viewing experience. That's the first one. The second thing is the memory. We'll have the first phone that'll have 1 terabyte memory. It's even bigger than some of the laptops. It's huge. And then when you put in it with the card, it's got 1.5 terabytes of memory. It's a first, it's a world first. The second one is actually the fingerprint sensor. It's not just a picture, but it takes the biometrics of your finger and actually able to, so only you can open that phone based on the pulse and the grooves of your fingerprints. That's never been done before as well. It's amazing. The other one is the ultra wide camera. That's my favorite.
Indigenous knowledge is also going digital. We find out about an app that helps you find your local traditional healer. They say they go through a thorough process to verify the authenticity of the healer. Quite a significant number of South Africans go to local traditional healers at some point or another for their well-being. On his app, Rev Tracking, Mpho Makado now allows South Africans to find their local traditional healer with just a click of a button.
It's a mobile app that has to connect with people in terms of services. So we talk about traditional healers as our African system that we had all before. So we see the need. There are a lot of people that are sick and that can get help or that doesn't even know where to get assistance.
He says they do a thorough check before a healer ends up on the app.
We go through an intensive vetting with this process because we are also skeptical about the traditional healers. When we create this app, it was also to wipe out those traditional healers who are taking chances with the patient. So what we do, we go to the communities and we go to the headmen, the chiefs, and we do the vetting. We find out about the traditional healers that are registering on the system. We find information about that healer, the records, the background of that healer, and we go also to the community before we even sit down with that proper healer.
Healers who have joined in say they're happy about this initiative.
Things have changed. Modern people use internet and technology, something we didn't have during our era. Modern society knows nothing about our olden days, so we deemed it fit to move on with the times so that our patients can use this app to reach us.
The developer of the app says coming up with it wasn't an easy task.
The languages that I've used, like I use many languages in this app. One of it is PHP, and it's HTML5, CSS3, then it's Ajax, then it's XML. Yeah, these are the languages that I can think of currently. So I managed to compile everything to make one app to work.
The app has a mapping system that uses a GPS. You go on it to look for a healer close to you. The creators of the app say they're constantly vetting people so they can join in. Some of your favorite beverage companies are now using drone technology to check where some of Africa's palm oil is sourced.
Companies including Nestle, Unilever and Ferrero are increasing the use of drone technology and satellite imagery programs to monitor where and how their palm oil is sourced, mainly in Africa and South Asia. The controversial ingredient used in roughly half of all packaged consumer products, from soap to cosmetics, chocolates and vegetable oil, but also a massive driver of deforestation worldwide.
Palm oil has been a bit of a dirty word for years, but consumer goods companies are under increasing pressure now from consumers who want more sustainably sourced products.
Although corporations claim their eye in the sky helps keep the supply chain responsible, critics say this decision may boost companies' green card, but doesn't change the situation on the ground.
One of the problems with this, they worry, is that by pinpointing where deforestation happens and by cutting those suppliers out of their supply chain, that there are other buyers in other more price-sensitive markets that will just buy that dirty palm oil. So you're not actually solving the problem, but just pushing it somewhere else.
Nestle visited one of their plant oil in Malaysia for satellite demonstration, and they believe solving the palm oil question ultimately requires the growers themselves.
So our focus in engaging mills is not on segregating out sustainable and not sustainable, but working with companies and working with mills to implement systems to really transform the industry as a whole and transform supply chains as a whole.
Thanks, Gary. And on a more serious note, load shedding is back.
Where's my cup?
Do you need help? Okay.
Yo, all this serious deserves a glass of not so serious. Come fill yours with Tops at Spa.
And thanks so much for staying with Morning Live. He described as unlawful the publishing of witness testimonies prior to being heard before the Commission.
It's almost like asking a parent who's your favorite child. But is there a moment that stands out for you?
We sat and we thought, how can we make blind people enjoy Noord-Vindt as well? Because it's television.
Transparency International's Corruption Perceptions Index, and out of 180 countries, South Africa coming in at 73.
I really hope that,
this year is going to be the year of fighting corruption.
Our shocking church abuses in the name of religion keep surfacing.
It's breaking the law. There's no church that should be allowed to do such things.
Get 20,000 Rand discount, bachelor's to master's degrees in Santon.
It's widespread and it's a very lucrative market.
The question that we ask, for instance, political parties is, where do you get the information? Where do you get the cell phone numbers of voters?
Thank you so much for choosing us.
As education continues to go digital, the SABC has also launched a virtual academy.
Education is evolving, and for a growing number of learners, spending every full school day in a traditional classroom simply isn't the right fit. That is why offering high-quality virtual options are becoming critical for schools. Now, the SABC's Education Division has launched its own virtual academy called SIVA as a self-help e-learning system.
It must be cost-effective for South Africans and for especially learners and teachers to actually access our system. So we then used a system called the Learner Management System, and on top of that we started building the Virtual Academy. That's where we take our educational programs and we then convert it for online purposes.
The broadcaster says it has stepped up its partnership with local schools to empower students with the best technology tools to enhance their learning experience.
We offer grade 12 subjects. It's in line with the CAPS curriculum of the National Department of Basic Education, and there are mainly 5 subjects that we cover. It's mathematics, accounting, physical and life sciences, and then English as first additional language.
Some experts say the key advantages learners have found in attending online schools is the flexibility it affords them and the ability to learn in a non-classroom environment, but say they need to be regulated.
If a child, for example, a learner sits in the class and they do not understand the work the teacher is saying, they can go back home and then they can go through the work online. And what we call that aha moment, that moment when they know this is what it's all about. So for revision, recapping, drilling in, that will be fantastic. If they cannot get to school, then they have it online. I think, but as I said again, it's very important that they are moderated.
Among the difficult decisions parents make, choosing the right school or learning method is often near the top of the list. The question that people often ask is whether or not virtual school can be a good fit for their kids and family. But parents choose online schooling for their young children for many reasons.
As a single parent, I actually am for them, and I appreciate them because for me they mean flexibility as a single parent, especially when you have 3 kids in one household. The other one would have activities in another area, the other one would have a class in another area. So if you have online tutoring or virtual class, as they call it now, you would have everybody in a house and still be able to attend to all those activities.
Students can learn on their own schedule, which in some cases may also work around their parents' schedule, utilizing all 7 days of the week for educational purposes.
In the building behind me right here in central Johannesburg, a number of people are learning how to code for free. It's part of a program called Within Code. I'm going inside to find out what's going on over there. Nyarisa Mushonga, thank you very much for joining us. What actually happens here?
Okay, so there's a 2-part selection process. The first part is you go onto our website and you click on the apply button, and it takes you through a process of attempting some games. These games are testing your problem solving, your aptitude. So they're really looking at your potential to code. So there's incremental parts to the games. If you get to a certain level of the first game, then you qualify to attempt the second one and the third one. No prior technical experience is required. You don't need to have been exposed to software at all prior to entering that. Of all the students that apply, about 1% usually get through that first screening with the games. The students that are successful then are invited to come into our boot camps, which is where we are now. So if you look around, these students are going through a pretty intensive 3.5-week boot camp. That boot camp takes it a step further. And it not just tests your aptitude, your ability to solve problems, it also tests resilience. The students are under a lot of pressure. They have to complete projects within a 24-hour period. We give them very little information, and the goal is that they have to research, work together to solve a problem in order to be successful. It tests your mental capacity, your ability to collaborate, and just your ability to stick it through. The feedback we get is that it's, for some of the students that apply, one of the most difficult things that they've ever had to do, academic or otherwise.
Why do you see the need to do this?
So the goal here is to democratize the process of being trained as a software developer. We're trying to democratize education. So we're trying to remove the barrier to entry, be it your past education experience, your past employment, your past training, etc. So the students come from all over the country. Anyone who gets access to our website is able to apply. We also work with certain other partners like Harambee to source unemployed youth to test them for aptitude. So the key thing is to be able to qualify to enter into the We Think Code program, you just have to show the aptitude to code and the resilience to learn. The program, which is a 2-year program, is tuition free. And so what that means is that the students that qualify to enter have got no barriers to actually study. In addition to that, if you're successful in entering the program, having passed a certain qualification criteria, certain of our students are eligible for a stipend, which is to support them with transport to get to and from campus and basic living expenses. Moreover, our campuses are in the CBD of Johannesburg, and we have another one in Cape Town. And so we have some students that come from outside of Cape Town or outside of Johannesburg, and that stipend is to support them in being able to live in these metropolises.
And the funding, where does the funding come from for this?
There's a combination of funders. One source of funding is the corporate sponsors. They will sponsor students for the 2-year program and then offer them internships as well as employ them at the end. So that's one source of our sponsorship. The other one is certain social development and impact partners that also offer funding. So certain foundations and nonprofits will contribute to We Think Code.
Would you say that you've been successful? You have been doing this since 2016.
Absolutely. Our first cohort was recruited in 2016. Our school year starts in May. They graduated in 2018, and 98% of the students that made it through the program have been placed in employment at entry-level salaries of between 20,000 and 25,000 rands per month. So I think that's a huge success. When you look at our entry criteria, allows students that are coming from a background where they might not have gotten all the support they needed in education, they might not have been able to afford tertiary tuition, and we're taking those students and saying all you need is the aptitude to code and the commitment to see a program through, and with that take them to a place where they're employable.
We caught up with club DJ Simtronic. He told us what his favorite technology is.
Yo, my name is Simtronic DJ, club and radio DJ, and my favorite technology in the world gotta be Bluetooth, man, because I can play music in the car, on my headphones, and when I get home on the speaker. So I take the music everywhere. Shout out to Bluetooth, man, taking care of the music lovers like myself.
Like a shooting star, I go. Ooh, like a shooting star, I go.
Phambili wendaba zosaziwayo ukhona to turn that frown upside down.
Will agree that the best way to spread a story is to include more people.
Get obsessed with the best of the best when it comes to Umkosi. Catch RGB Saturdays at 7:30 only on SABC 1 Mzansi for sure.
come, they will come and say, praise God. Praise God. Abantwana says what? Hallelujah.
Gospel of love is my love. You say, victory.
Gospel Unplugged, Sundays at 5:30 only on SABC 1.
It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Welcome back. Here's what took place in the rest of the tech space in the rest of the world.
A new app called Tudor is helping farmers match cattle with their potential partners in England. Its creators are milking the huge success of dating app for humans such as Tinder, Bumble and Hinge, in what they believe is the first ever matchmaking app for livestock.
Matching livestock online is even easier than it is to match humans because there's a huge amount of data that sits behind these wonderful animals that predicts what their offspring will be, and so that's hugely valuable to a farmer to be able to know what the milk yield would be and the protein content of that milk, and also how easy it will be for the cow to actually calve.
After swiping right on a cow they are interested in, farmers are then taken to a site listing with thousands of British farms with personal data on every cow they've matched.
You can get a good idea from a picture, and then if you're really interested, to say, you've got the picture, you've got all the background of the animal, and you know where it is, and you can, if you're really interested, you can, say, I'll buy it straight away, or go and look at it and contact the dealer and the seller.
Off we go to India. More than 120 teams from India, Israel, Ukraine and other countries participated in a drone competition, a first of its kind. Several quadcopters, hexacopters, multi-rotor, photography, endurance and even delivery unmanned air vehicle were seen taking over the sky of Bengaluru.
The first time in our country we are organizing the Drone Olympics, and the idea was to look at where we are in terms of drone manufacturing in our country, not just the drones manufacturing but also the payloads and their functioning. And very happy to tell you that we have had a very good response.
India is the market for drones and India is the next manufacturer for drones. So this Drone Olympic will bring it into focus.
There were several categories of the competition, and the drones were overall judged on a number of parameters including stealth, maximum height, vertical takeoff, landing stability, payload capacity, self-weight, flight time, transmission range and many others.
It was International Mother Tongue Day recently. Our Twitter poll this week is asking if the devices you use on a daily basis have the option of your mother tongue. 27% of respondents say yes. The vast majority of you, at 64%, say no. And there is 13% that says they've never checked. It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. That's all we have for you right here in Central Johannesburg. From me and the rest of the crew, have a good one. It's bye-bye.